mates, and welcome to the Barn Reviews with me, the Barn, and welcome to U8, the Sorcery update. Before I go any further, let me just say, if you don't watch the whole video, check the video description below, and I'll put little time codes, so you can skip to the part that you're most interested in, after the video premieres, of course. And I usually don't edit these videos, but I'm actually going to edit this video today because it's a good bit to get through, and I figured that would be the most efficient way of doing it. So let me start by giving you a quick look. Oh, I already have this here. There's some new weapons. I'm not going to go into all of it though. You can mess around yourself. The axe, was that? Was the axe always in it? This little guy, I can't remember if this was in I genuinely can't remember if this was in U7 or not. But you can check this out yourself. Just give you a little idea. The newest being the staffs, new little buckler. Oh, there's a new mace. Over here. And new Reverend Sword, which is also two-handed. Super nice. But as I say, you can check that out yourself. Let's jump straight into the magic. So, magic time. First thing is new spell menu. Bunch of people were wondering if it was going to make it. It did make it. And we got fire, lightning, gravity. And you also notice beautiful new particle effects. And these little runes are actually they're actually lore friendly. So the Warfrog team actually created a custom alphabet for the Blade and Source universe. And so like this symbol means magic, this means fire, lightning, gravity, and lots of other stuff. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to actually implement that into the game. I think it'll probably be more relevant in the dungeons update. And I just realized something. Let me just pop on HD mode. What are we doing in normal mode? So anyway, let's pick fire. And then you'll see we have new spell, new mana and health menu. So you can see your mana going down there as you hold a spell. The same would be for health. Whoops. And for fire anyway, you're activating it by holding the trigger, and you'll see an orb appear. This is the case for all spells. People kept asking me about lightning. How is it different? It's not different. It's just that now it has an orb too. All spells start with an orb. The idea being that you'll be able to eventually merge orbs together. Whoops, someone's calling my phone there. But for now, well, I'll get into it later, but for now the most padded out spell is gravity, so you're not able to merge different elements or fire and lightning yet. And when that's to come, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be an 8.x patch, but I will get you more information when I get it. Anyway, for fire, so you're holding the trigger. To launch it, it actually launches forward. You're just releasing the trigger. And then you can put a little spin on it by moving your hand. It's tricky, like everything in Blade and Sorcery. It's just tricky enough, you know. It's like you can't spam it. But with a little practice, you could get it. Which is what you want. You don't want to just be spamming fireballs. You know, I'm gonna pop on infinite mana, so I don't have to mess around. And then with fire, when it comes to weapons, actually, I think I have a sword. No, I don't. When it comes to weapons, you can imbue weapons by simply just holding the blade or whatever close to it, close to the spell. And then the idea being your fiery weapon will much better penetrate metal, stone, and depending on what the weapon is, will depend on how long it retains the imbue, and how long or how many strikes you can get out of it before it runs out. And so it's a little bit tricky right now because there are tiered weapons. Like for example, this sword is actually like a lower tiered weapon, because I don't know if you can see that, but not sure if you can see it, but there's like cracks in it, little chips in the side. So this kind of sword doesn't hold an imbue well. But it's kind of hard to tell if it's a low tier, only because we haven't got to the progression update which is when there would be shops and stores, and it would be much more obvious which weapons are higher tier, which weapons are lower tier. For the staffs, all staffs hold imbues much longer, but for fire and lightning, right now, as I say, only gravity is the most padded out spell. So for right now, all that a fiery staff is going to do is strike like a fiery mace, basically, and it'll just strike much longer. Yeah, you get a lot of hits out of that. But you'll see with gravity later that staffs have a little more function than that. Oh yeah, let me show you. Some folks were wondering about. They're wondering if this was still the case. New slow-mo sound, by the way. Whoop. So yeah, this is still the case with flaming swords and daggers. They can stick into walls. This is going to make your climbing probably a lot more interesting. You should be able to do a lot more with that. That is fire. Let us move on to the next thing. Now, lightning, much the same. The only difference here is you're getting these orbs and new effects, basically. But like the staff, you can also, like the fire, you can also imbue weapons. Same deal. Now you can start striking with electricity. Depending on the weapon, will depend on how long it retains its charge. Yeah, and so forth. Same deal with come here, you. Same deal with staffs. Beautiful looking effects. Yeah. Now the big one is gravity. This is, as I say, the most padded out spell right now, the most complete spell. You've got a couple of things going on with gravity. The first one is if you make a charge and then just launch a forward and release trigger, you can make a little kind of push. Now actually that mannequin went flying, but you'll find that the enemy don't go flying, they just kind of get a little stun. If you charge 2, however, and then push forward, then that'll really send them flying. That's the big one. That's like whoops, not yet. Get into that in a second. That's like this would be more like force push. Can really send them flying. And then this is the one I just almost gave away. If you charge 2 gravity and merge them together, you can make you pull it apart. You can make a gravity bubble. And then while in the gravity bubble, everything will float. It's tons and tons of fun. And that's kind of like a little a peek at how spell merging is going to work. Oh, accidentally I fixed my headset there. I think I shot some gravity. It's a little peek at how spell merging is going to work. As I say, right now only gravity is the most padded out, but someday you would be able to merge 2 fires, 2 lightning or whatever, and then even the idea being that you could merge multiple different elements. So with imbuing gravity, like all elements, the most basic thing is that if you strike an object, you then send that imbue into the object. So like if you struck an enemy and then hit him, he would just start spiraling away. So that's the most basic thing. But when it comes to staffs, it's a little bit different because, as I said, gravity is the most complete. So staffs have little extra powers. So as well as being able to hit things, that's fair enough. You can also smash your staff and cause a big shockwave of gravity. You can also do the good old Gandalf, you shall not pass. Oops. Got a little imbue there. And hit the ground, bang! You can do some of that. And then also cool is you can actually toss it. Like this! Whoop-ah! And so you can kind of like launch it like a missile almost. Look at my staff up there. Come here, you. Whoop. So as you can see, anything that's imbued with gravity will just float away. Whoop. It's great fun knocking an enemy around, I gotta say. Yeah. So, I mean, I believe ultimately someday the idea is that all the elements would have this kind of factor to it, you know? But right now, just gravity. Let us bounce over to the Citadel and have an old peek at the Armour system. Alrighty. Welcome to the Citadel. It is by far the biggest map. It is, I'd say, at least as big as the Canyon. Except it also, in fact, I'd say it's bigger than the Canyon, but it also has verticality that the Canyon doesn't have. So it's particularly large. It's definitely the funnest map for climbing. There's all sorts of nooks and crannies, all sorts of ladders and interesting kind of like, if you can see those like, how do you call them, like bricks that are kind of like indents and stuff like that. So that's going to be its own thing. It's just messing around the map that way. Alrighty. So I just got a volunteer here. And first thing you'll notice about the new AI, all new fancy models, custom made, moving away from the whole asset store vibe. And let's talk about Armour and the new system. So, straight up, you can see that this woman has leather armour. It's going to block any slash damage that happens to it. Same thing, you can see she has little kind of like leather parts of her trousers here. It's going to block damage. But when it hit on the cloth area, slashing damage. By the way, new decals, all new gore system. So straight away the game is much harder. If you're used to kind of steamrolling guys, now it's very tricky. So that's cool. This is how I was. This is what I was talking about with the penetration system. By the way, hey, let me get I mean, I could do an ice sword, but let me grab a dagger. Just because it's nice and small. Okay, so the penetration system does not work how I thought it would work, but it is still excellent. I thought, with the penetration system, I thought it was going to be, you could put the dagger up to the skin and just simply... Well, never mind. I guess that is exactly... Okay, never mind. I guess that is how it works. I was going to say you can put the dagger up the skin and just push in, and I guess that is how it works. Okay, well, that's good. That's weird. I was just testing this the other day, and it did not work like that. Oh, my goodness. Okay, never mind. And also, check out this sword, by the way. Blood paints onto objects now, so you can get much more interesting looking gore. Okay, so I'm fully incorrect. It absolutely works the way I hoped it worked, which is you can now simply put a blade up against something and push in. Perfect. For going down, well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong about this too. Okay, no, so it is a little bit different going down. Okay, yeah. So going down, you can't just put the blade on the arm and push down, but you can if you kind of like saw it. Like that. And you can see it goes in, like not all the way, but pretty deep. And then look, check this out. Pretty gross. So it's like you can't just rest it and push down. It's kind of like you saw it just a little bit. And so that's how that's working anyway. For actually piercing armor, it depends. It just depends on what you're doing. So if I was to try and pierce this leather with the dagger, it's not going to happen. But if I put a little bit of welly into it, you can make it happen. And the rapier, you'll find pokes holes much easier. So it just depends. It just depends on how much welly you're going to put into it. And then let me show you. Whoop! God, my sword's like the color red now. If I grab some fire, so this blade would not go in normally. If I toast it just a little bit, it goes through like no problem whatsoever. Now let's see if we can get a metal guy here. Oh, here's something I forgot to say, by the way. Gravity. You can also, if you've ever played Dark Chains, Oh great, here's a metal guy. You also might find this familiar. You can kind of toss guys around. Not as ragdolly as not as ragdolly as Dark Chains, mind you. Whoop. Okay, this is great. Come here, you. Whoop. Afraid we only need one of these. And it's gonna be you. Come here. Okay. Gonna have to ask you to stay down. Whoa. Oh no, you don't. All right, you don't mind. I'm trying to demo something here. Okay, so this is a chainmail guy. There's also plate guys. Oop. And it's the same deal basically. It's just a whole lot harder. And so with these guys, unlike the leather where it's like with a bit of welly you could penetrate through, with these guys it's just not happening. Oh whoops! Except it just did happen. Oh no, I think I got him in the arm. But for the breastplate, it's not possible. Unless toast this up a little bit. There you go. But you know, he has all these other weak spots on him, like he's got like a kind of gamison here. And the legs. Whoop. Oh, by the way, people were asking me, is it possible to tear guys apart? Whoop. Whoop. Yes, it is possible. Oh, except he kind of bugs there. Get out of here. So that's pretty much it for UA. I'm going to leave it there because, you know, much of it is you're just going to really want to mess around yourself and play with all the spells and stuff. You know, rather than just watching me mess around with all the spells and stuff. And so I'll leave it there for today. And hopefully you all enjoy U8. I know Cosby and Warfrog worked their asses off on it. So have fun, guys. That is it for this video. That is it from the Baron. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.